What's up, guys? What's up? It is episode numero what?
32, guys. 32.
32 episodes. I hope you guys have been enjoying this venture, this podcast from us, and kind of following along our trials and tribulations of everything that's happened from, we closed down the business one day, we opened up the business the very next day.
The same day.
Right?
Oh, the next day, yeah.
The very next day, we created a video. We said, hey, we're done. We're closing shop. And then the very next day, we had to go ahead and reopen and resend another video.
That said, we're back.
We're back. We're back.
Oh, my God.
The only thing is that actually...
We're back, but we're not back in our own spot.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for, and I'm really thankful. But I do miss our home. I do miss where SKC was at. I do miss the vibe that we had in our SKC. I miss everything about SKC. I really do. But I'm very grateful that I had the years that I had to be at it. And I'm actually grateful that it actually closed in a fairly well. Well, it's not closed 100%, but semi-closed. And it's going to be closing in a good way, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just shutting from one day to another.
Yep.
So... yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. A lot of learning curves.
Boy, a lot of learning curves.
Just make sure any agreement, get it in black and white.
Always.
Agreements need to be in black and white. Verbal agreements, se las lleva el viento, like my mom used to say.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And here's some advice. Make sure that everything you do through a company, and you try not to hold yourself completely liable against towards a rental agreement or a lease or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Because why? Like, let's say for instance, McDonald's comes in and tries to lease the actual place. Do they hold the president of McDonald's?
No.
So liable?
They don't do a hold harm. Is it a hold harm? No. What is it called? I forgot.
You have to look that up.
I'll remember. It's just
they don't take
a personal guarantee.
A personal guarantee. You don't take personal guarantees from the big companies, but from the little guys you do.
Because the little guy is always going to get the short end of the stick.
And if you don't do a personal guarantee, they won't lease you the place.
That's right. So it's inequality across the board. I always say that inequality
for the little guy.
Oh, it's always for the little guy. If you're the little guy, expect to be inequality'd. That's a word.
It actually makes sense. Inequality.
Inequality'd. I'm sorry, because it doesn't matter if you're a woman, if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're Latin, white, or any other color. If your funds and your bank account isn't with a lot of zeros, inequality is going to smack you right in the face.
Yeah. So make that money because then... Because if you have a huge franchise... Then if you go into a place, they're not going to ask for a personal guarantee from the president of Chuck E. Cheese.
It's true. But why would they?
And would the president of Chuck E. Cheese agree to that?
Heck no. He'll be like, next spot, next.
Yep.
And you know what else I suggest you guys do? Don't get a brick and mortar. Don't get a retail location if you don't have to.
Sell everything online, stick to online.
Stick to online. That was one of our biggest mistakes. I think we went too big, even though we had the capacity for it and we had the amount of clientele for it. But when the times got hard, they weren't even hard times. They were
just shut down.
They were just
they abruptly stopped.
Yeah, like they didn't say, okay, you can work at 50%. Because we could have managed at 50%.
Yeah.
No, they closed it down.
Completely.
And then when you get back, remember those months we were closed? Oh, no, we were open. Really? Because...
What do you mean?
I wasn't open. Well, open for rent.
Yeah.
And for you to pay.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you see the way my bank account, how does our bank account work? See, the way our bank account works is that money has to go into the account.
In order to
so
pay
then I can
the
pay.
bills.
So if money's not coming in the account because we're shut down, then I can write blank checks and I can write checks all day long. The money's just not going to be there.
Money's not going to be there.
So, sorry guys.
Yeah, so it's crazy how the little guy, you know what, I actually spoke about this with a couple of people, and the little guys, the bars, the restaurants, even the landlords, everybody had to stop. But the banks were still able to keep collecting their mortgage. And if they don't stop collecting their mortgage, then, but I'm not allowed to open up my business for 3 months. And then when I do come back, I'm only allowed to bring in 10%. Right now, I think Miami-Dade is going to be opening up at the end of September 31st. September 31st, we're in September 9th?
I think
10th? I think September 10th today?
Yeah, today's the 10th, so tomorrow's the 11th.
September 10th, tomorrow's September 11th, right? We'll talk about that later. Maybe that's something good to speak about our experience through September 11 while we lived in New York as college students.
Yeah.
Right? So the restaurants are going to be allowed to open on September 31st. That still gives them 21 more days.
It can't be September 31st because September doesn't have 31 days.
I'm sorry, September 21st.
Oh, okay.
September 21st. They're going to be allowed. So that's 11 more days, all right, that they're going to have to remain closed.
So 11 more days of not making money. Why can't we open tomorrow?
So the restaurants, because I guess the pandemic and they're trying to see what happens with
in 11 days,
right? 11 days.
That makes sense.
Now, yeah, but they've already been closed since March. So now restaurants and...
No, didn't they reopen them and then close them again?
They reopened them, but they allowed them to do only outdoor dining or takeout.
Okay, got it.
But indoor dining is still not allowed in Miami County, Miami-Dade County. Now, on September 21st, they're going to allow them to open, but only at a 25% capacity. They cannot make, because everybody wants to go out and eat. Everybody wants to go to restaurants.
Everybody needs to go out.
Everybody wants to go back out.
Yeah.
And hang out in restaurants, especially here in Miami. Now, nightclubs and bars, they're actually still, there's no due date for them to open.
That's scary.
All the nightclubs across Miami, because Miami Beach lives off its nightclubs.
That's what I was going to say. That's
Miami
scary.
Beach lives off its bars.
Yeah. And they have the highest rent, in my opinion.
They have
They have what, 10,000 square? No, not 10,000. Maybe 100,000 square foot locations.
Some of them do, but some restaurants are small.
The big ones. No,
Yeah.
we're talking about bars and nightclubs.
Yes. Yeah, 10,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
I don't know how big. How
They're
big can a
big.
nightclub be?
They're big. They're
Like
big.
a warehouse, right?
It is,
Yeah, but what about those bars right across the street on Ocean Drive?
Yeah, but their rent is high.
Yeah, their rent is high. So they'll be able to open back up to 25% capacity, but I bet whoever leased that space to them, their bank is still charging them 100% of the mortgage. So that trickles down. That means that landlord now has to charge 100% of the rent to a business that is only allowed to operate at 25% capacity. And I guess some travel is also restricted, I assume.
Yeah, look at my dad.
If people come in from anywhere else, do they have to be quarantined for 14 days?
Yeah, and they're home. So, but I don't know, because my dad was supposed to be here on the 10th. Today. Mm-hmm. No, he was supposed to be here last week. Then they rescheduled it for today.
America. That's right.
Now they moved it to the 18th. They just called them and told them that they're moving it to the 28th. So it's like they keep pushing it. Why? I don't know.
So what's going to happen to that economy? You think restaurants they've really been paying this whole time? So if restaurants haven't been able to make the money to pay off their rent, are the landlords now being foreclosed on? Even though it's not allowed to happen just yet.
Not yet.
But they're still behind in the mortgage.
Yeah. Well, look at our favorite little pizzeria. They haven't paid rent since March.
But how can they pay rent? They're not allowed to open. And I believe the shopping center where they have their business is not even allowed to have outdoor dining. Like I see a lot of restaurants that actually took space in front of their place and they put outdoor dining.
Very smart.
But a lot of plazas say, no, you can't do that.
That's so wrong.
In these times, they should have let everybody do it. I don't even think the city should have even been involved in that part. You guys told us to close down, but now we can make money? You just stopped everybody from making money.
That's right. What? Can I ask you a question, and can you be honest about it? What's your take on even the government shutting us down? Do you want to talk about it?
I don't think they should have shut us down. Why? Here's my take on that. My take on that of why the government should not have shut us down is because we're grown adults. And we should, if we want to go out, you see, but then if you go out and you get sick and then you get somebody else sick, it's because of your own negligence. And now, but
how do you stop?
What is that other person doing now?
But how do you stop living because of a virus?
Do you think they should have made things shut down?
No, I think that should have been each and every individual person to decide.
Here's what I think they should have done. Now that I got a few more seconds to think about this, and I think it's more with a level head. And we spoke about this before. And I think when they declared a shutdown, they had to shut down everything. It should have been a whole nation shutdown for 3 months and then get back into it.
Yes.
Hard. That's it. Everybody, we've kind of tamed it because some countries in Europe, they did do that. They shut down completely. Now, we have a lot of people here in the United States compared to a lot of European countries. A lot of these European countries don't have as many people as the United States does.
Yeah.
Like Italy, Spain, they have less people than us.
Of course.
We have over 350 million people. I think they reach maybe, 90, I'm going to say, in some places.
1/3.
Shit. I mean, Colombia has, I think, 45 million.
Yes, nothing.
Florida alone has 21 million people.
Florida has half of what Colombia has in the whole country.
Just one state. Right? So, like, China has a big, but they also shut down. Wuhan shut down. Everything shut down. That's why they were able to come back. And they're back. I think I saw them doing water parks and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Now, but they said, nope. You shut down. Now you can stay open. You can continue making money. Why? Because if they continue making money, then that means rents are still due. And mortgages can still be collected.
And they
did it for the banks. They didn't do it for the people.
That's wrong.
Because if they would have done it for the people, I think what they could have done was say, shut everything down. Mm-hmm. There's no mortgage. There's no rent. Nobody goes to work. Nobody's allowed in the streets. Who's allowed in the streets?
Police officers?
First responders. That's it. And utilities. That's it. Nobody else is allowed in the streets. And on certain days, you're allowed to go food shopping. And on certain days, you come back. 3 months. Let's come together as a country. Let's get through this really fast so we can get our asses back to normal.
I think they should have polled. They should have polled us.
They should have. We should have been able to vote.
We should have.
But that's why we vote.
We should have voted. We should have been able to say, I choose to go out, and I choose to take personal responsibility for myself. And even that's what I think. Listen, when you live in a free society, you live in a free society. I believe, well, hindsight is 20/20.
Of course.
So looking back now at how it was preventable and how if you wear a mask and certain things that you can do to make sure that you don't catch it, or at least not, you can't ensure anything. Nothing is for sure. Everything is maybe. So I think that if we should have polled, they should have allowed people who, it doesn't matter because they did allow people were out. I don't remember this place. I don't remember Miami being shut down. I was appalled when I went to the supermarket and the parking lot was stacked. Remember?
Yep.
Every single week. Remember the lines that you would be at Whole Foods and all the supermarkets to go in? Yep.
But they either shut everybody down or they didn't shut anybody down at all. And now, at first, I never blamed the president. And then I never blamed him. He didn't know. He's not a scientist. How can he foresee something like this? But now this new book came out of an author that interviewed the president, and there's audio of him saying, this virus is deadly. It's airborne. It's not just touch. It goes through the air. This is deadly. And then there's another audio recording of him saying that, I just didn't want to panic the people. Makes sense. I get the part of him not wanting to panic the people, but 2 days later, or a couple of days later, after him saying this thing is airborne, it's dangerous, it's a lot worse than the flu, like from his own mouth, it's a lot worse than the flu. A couple of days later, he said, no, it's just gonna go away, all on its own.
So if he felt that way, why would he go everywhere without a mask?
because he trusts the people around him who are there to protect his life no matter what. And they're not gonna let anybody get close to him.
But it's airborne.
I know, but they probably had other information. Airborne meaning close contact like that.
Or in the air if someone sneezes or coughs.
Sorry about that.
You know what? I think that when you look back, you can make better decisions.
But he knew. So, do you think he should have shut down the country for 3 months? Or at least shut it down like the rest of Europe was doing? Because you have friends in Italy talking about it, and you were telling me that it was completely shut down.
Completely.
They were
only food places were open.
But now they're back, right?
They're back, full swing, I think, right? But numbers are still
high, or maybe not even as high. But they kind of stopped the curve a little bit.
Yes.
They kind of controlled it. I don't know the situation now. I haven't looked into it.
I know that supposedly in Florida we had 384 deaths yesterday. But what deaths were they? Were they actual COVID deaths, or were they
related to COVID?
Related to COVID.
It's still COVID.
Or were they accident and then somebody caught COVID but they still died from the accident? It wasn't COVID. You see what I'm saying? And that's another thing.
But let's say
there's no transparency.
But how many can they do of that? All of them?
Well, I've seen reports. Well, I don't know. But I've read people stating that mom died of a heart attack and they said it was COVID death.
But did she have COVID?
No.
She didn't have COVID at all.
That's what the article said. I read it on the New York Times. So that's what I'm saying. We don't
know what the Lords are doing.
Transparency is very unequal.
But he knew, to a certain extent,
of course he
knew how dangerous it was, and still told the public, nope, it's not dangerous. People die more from the flu, which is true. But this is so new that we should have been like, hey, hold on. They're shutting down. Let's all shut down. And now we probably could have been in a better situation. Our schools probably could have been open. Our martial arts studio probably could have survived, because if they canceled everything, then for 3 months and then start back up, we could have.
But we did. Everything was canceled. The landlords and mortgages were put not on hold, but they were put on where you grab the mortgage and you just put it at the end. Like
some people were doing that, but not all landlords were doing that.
I just think
there's certain ways of doing business, certain ways of not.
Yeah, and I think that our landlord didn't do it the right way.
But now look, for not closing down completely for 3 months, we were locked down 3 months regardless.
Yeah.
Mostly a lot of the big cities, right? For not locking down, now restaurants now Miami Beach cannot open up at full capacity. Now they can only open up at 25%, right? Wouldn't they have rather been able to open up? Wouldn't they have rather closed for 3 months and be able to open back up at full capacity?
But they did close down. But we did close down.
Restaurants
were closed.
Yes, but not across the whole country. Things were still happening. People still getting infected. Beaches were still open.
I mean,
which the beach I don't get, because you have the sun there and you should be air and you're airborne and stuff like that. But at that point, nobody knew.
Yeah.
But at that point, nobody knew. The only thing people knew is that large crowds can spread it. Right? We all knew that from the get-go. And being around other people. So social distancing you had to do. I think people would have been prepared to lock down for 3 months. But now people are being locked down now and not being able to go back to work.
Look, we even had a curfew.
We had a curfew
for freaking Labor Day.
Yeah.
It's like children.
Just because we couldn't, just because everyone across the board wasn't ordered to close.
Wasn't playing by
everybody rules. Could have came back. Oh no, you can stay open and you can make money. So the banks can still collect money. They can say, well, some businesses were open. And when you call the bank, one of the first things they tell you, oh, was your business affected? What kind of business did you have? They want to know if your business was essential or not.
Yeah.
So the bank is trying to find out, wait a minute, I want to know if you're open or closed.
Yeah.
All right. If you were closed, did you get any funds?
That's the first thing they ask.
Well, give me my money. I want my full money. I don't care. Oh, I'm sorry about you having to close down your business. I want my full money back right now. I need the loan paid off. Yeah, but they said I couldn't open. What kind of business did you have? Awesome. You know what? Can you give something now? Bitch, I gotta eat.
I gotta pay my mortgage.
I gotta pay mortgage. Otherwise, they're gonna kick me out of my house too. And I gotta pay my taxes. The government did not close collecting taxes.
No, they didn't stop. They pushed it a couple, but
they never stopped collecting taxes.
It was wrong.
They
and
did
guess
it
who
wrong.
suffered?
The little guy suffered.
The unequaled.
Yep.
The little guy.
Yeah.
The little
The
guy.
little guy.
The
That's
little
right.
guy always gets the short end of the stick.
Yeah. The working man gets the short end of the stick on this one. And we're the ones feeling it the most. Small businesses are closing down because they cannot reopen.
But some way, somehow, I think that this is going to be a good thing for us. I know
It's
now.
going to be a good thing for it because, it can't rain forever.
Exactly. But I think that the propel forward that this is going to create, I think is very positive. I don't think, I know.
I think people are going to come out of here hungry. A lot of people are going to come out hungry and ready to, because when they tell you can't do something, that's when you really want to do it. So.
Or when they take away something that you work so hard for, now you just find something that you really enjoy doing because F it. You took away something that I worked hard for, which I put time, money, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it was taken away like this. So now the next thing I'm going to do is now just put something that I have 100,000% passion, no overhead, no retail space, because I'm not gonna continue being a slave.
A slave to a retail spot.
To a retail spot.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yep. No,
I'm done.
Not good.
So stepping in the right direction. Here we go.
Just scary times,
Really? What are you scared of?
No, meaning scary times for a lot of people. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about like a lot of people. It's just weird. You have these fires that are out in California happening.
You had the Anunakis possibly on their way. Nibiru.
I went down a rabbit hole with the Anunnaki.
I don't think you went down a rabbit hole.
That's my rabbit hole. It's okay. I went down it, and I was home. I was quarantined. So
let's blame it on the quarantine.
So I went down the rabbit hole of the Anunnaki, and I found out that it doesn't matter because we're all, once the Anunnaki get here, we're all their slaves.
We're gonna go back to retail space.
They're making it a long story short about what the Anunnaki is. Basically, according to the tale, whatever it is, they made all the pyramids. They made all that stuff. They did all that stuff, and
a superior being.
And we are basically their slaves. So once they get here, they just enslave all of us. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Chinese, there's nothing right now, man.
They love us all as slaves.
They don't give up. So that's long story short. There's a lot more to the story, and there's a lot of interesting things that they talk about. How there's been a missing link. Of how humans got here, whether it's God or whether it's evolution or whether it's not. But there's something that nobody really knows how we got here.
Nobody knows.
Nobody really knows how we got here. There's
beliefs. They're all theories.
Everything's a theory.
Darwin's
Everything's
theory.
or a belief.
Yeah, or a belief.
It's a belief, right? So you either you believe, because a theory doesn't make it a fact.
No.
A theory is just a theory. Like the Big Bang Theory, that's still a theory. It's not a fact. If how we evolved from a fish to an ape to a human, that's still a theory because nobody really knows, right? And did we come from Adam and Eve? Nobody really knows either. That's also a theory or a belief. If there's a God that created us, a lot of us like to believe.
I like to believe that story. That story is pretty nice.
But technically, anything that made us is a God.
Exactly.
Right?
But then I start thinking, if a God made us, who made him? You see, it's like, it doesn't end.
Who made the Anunnaki? If the Anunnaki made us, who made the Anunnaki?
Who made that? A being more powerful than them.
A being more powerful than them. But they're able to, because they have these stones out in Egypt and the pyramids.
Mesopotamia, right?
Mesopotamia, where they weigh like 2.4 tons each stone. And they brought them from 2,000 miles away. And
there was no cars back then.
There was
or
no
airplanes.
Airplanes, or I don't even know if they had boats like that.
Yeah,
that could carry
that magnitude.
That can carry tons. How did they do it?
And they flood. Didn't they flood?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story, and it kind of combines it with the stories of the Bible, and not just the Bible, but a lot of religious beliefs.
Is that all? I believe all religious beliefs probably come from that one.
Yeah, and we all believe some sort of another that we have a creator who created us. You know, we call him a creator. Some people call him God, but supposedly the Anunnaki said, all right. They had like these slaves, and the slaves rebelled against them, so they got rid of them, and they needed to create something else. So they kind of mixed a little bit of their DNA with some of the
natives that were on the planet already, right?
The natives of the planet, which are called Neanderthals, maybe, right? And then that's where we came from. So I don't know. You know, I went down the rabbit hole, and it's fun. Right, because it's interesting. It's another view on things, right? And it's fun to even think about stuff like that.
Of course, I think it is.
Man, look at that. But that means we're the aliens.
So I wonder how they created us. Did they create us out of vibration, or did they create us out of atom? Like what?
DNA.
Yeah, but
and that supposedly we were born sterile, or everybody
was a male.
Was sterile, males. And then they said, well, you know what? It's easier if they just kind of procreate. So let's let them create it. And that's when females were invented. And then, so again, that kind of relates to the Bible. Adam and Eve, that Eve came from the rib of Adam, right? And so that's what they're kind of implying, right? To a certain extent. And I don't know if it's true, but that's what kind of says about the Anunnaki. And then they made us, and then we kind of just spread out, and then I think they had to leave, and we just kind of stood here, and they come around every 35,000 or 3,500 years or something like that. And then once they get here,
they create total chaos because of their planet. Their planet's so big.
Their planet's so big, and it comes so close to us.
It pulls.
Their planet orbits our solar system, but just in a different kind of scale.
In a longer scale.
In a longer scale that it takes.
It takes them 3,500 years to go around.
Either 3,500 years or 35,000
one of the two.
Right, so
35 is the lucky number.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's 2 zeros or 3 zeros.
Well, think about it. If it's 35,000 years, if they passed by 35,000 years ago, how old do they see the pyramids being? Like, how long ago were the Aztecs here? How long ago were the Egyptians here? I forget, but I think it was BC, right? Yeah, it was BC.
Before Christ.
It was before Christ. And I don't think it was that many thousand years before Christ.
I don't think so either.
Like the Egyptians and stuff like that. So maybe the belief is, or theory is that the Egyptians just kind of passed by and they found these pyramids that had already been there from way back, 35, or at that point, it's been 2,000 years since
that's right.
Jesus Christ.
Because if they were nomads and they were traveling from one side to another.
They passed by. It's a city that's stable, it has water, it has canals, it has everything, irrigation, right? They're like, this thing looks pretty good. This fish
I am the king of this land.
But then they also said that they left people that only made across the bloodline, and that's what they call a royal bloodline. That means they actually control the earth, and they've been controlling the earth because their order has to go around, but they left a bloodline that controls us all.
So there are lords.
There are lords. We don't know.
Who are the lords? Imagine if they like turn into these weird things in their heads.
But that's where the whole thing is, where they come out and they say that there's a reptilian god or a reptilian.
And you've seen them.
I've seen them. Around the whole, that rules all over us. And then, of course, when people say about reptilian things, they're like, that's BS. But maybe they say reptilian so we can think, that's BS, because we don't want to think as a reptile as being one of the gods. But maybe it's just a person that looks like us.
What was the name of the in G.I. Joe? The snake?
Cobra Kai? No. That's Cobra Kai. My karate mind went straight to karate.
Right when you said reptilian, I said, "Oh my God!" Like G.I. Joe.
Yeah, what was his name?
I forgot.
I think it was Cobra. G.I. Joe. What?
It was
bad guy.
It wasn't. Splinter was the bad guy from the Ninja Turtles, and what was his name? Oh my God!
It was Cobra.
I remember Transformers, which was Decepticons. But what was his name? Autobots and Decepticons. G.I. Joe, Cobra. Cobra what? What was his name?
What is this guy's name?
I never.
Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander. There's a Cobra Commander out there.
You see?
You see, and look, it's even in cartoons.
In our cartoons. Cobra Commander was his name. That's right.
I'm telling you, there's always some slight of truth into a movie, into a book, into whatever. There's always slight truth into it. I always like to listen because of that reason. Because I'm like, man, if they thought about it, that means that that's a possibility. And if that's a possibility, that's pretty dope.
And if they thought about it, then
somebody else must have thought about it. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yep. And what caused that thought? But I was going to talk about now September 11th, 2001.
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
We'll leave that one for tomorrow?
Yeah, because tomorrow is actually September 11th.
All right.
You know, I feel bad remembering it the way we remember it.
How do we remember it?
We always remember it like I read a post that 3,000, I don't know how many people were falling asleep tonight 17 years ago, right? 17 years or 19 years ago, thinking about how their tomorrow was going to be, and then they die. I wish we would celebrate more their the people that their lives, their achievements. What did they do? You know, this person in the short life of 37 years achieved this and this. This person, why does everything always have to be so somber? And then when my son, I sat with him to do his homework, and he's learning about 9/11, and he's learning it in a terrorist way. And I get that kids need to understand this. I get it. And I get that you have to learn history, because if not, you repeat it. But I'm also seeing a trend. And I'm seeing a trend of racism tying into a lot of these things that our kids are learning. Because if we stop teaching them the hatred part of it and teaching it more along the idiocracy of people not being well-versed, or what ideology, when you believe in certain things, on how destructive it can be and how you can take that ideology and maybe form it to be something more positive, you're going to teach a generation how to handle things a little bit differently. But when you're telling them that the Saudis, and because the American soldiers were in that region, was why they hate us so much, and that's why they came and attacked us, I don't think that's healthy. I mean, it's my opinion, guys. Don't hang me. I just want all this racial bullshit to go bye-bye.
But we don't teach our kids that, right? I say we don't teach our kids anything about that. But out there in some countries, they're teaching their kids that.
I understand.
And then our kids are like, no, this world is very pretty. And then they are taken advantage of in the future, because now they think the world is pretty. But when they learn that there's some bad people out there, and there's racism against them, whether you're white or black, you're going to get racist on. Because at this point, when dealing with like Al Qaeda, or dealing with the Taliban, or dealing with whatever new enemy comes up every year, that they hate us just for being Americans. Supposedly, it's what we've been told. I've never spoken to any one of them, so I don't know. But we've been told that they hate us for our liberties, for the way we live, because we don't worship Allah, or whatever it is. Whatever it is they hate us for, they tell us that they hate us. I don't know.
But it's I've
never been there.
It's such a small group.
You're right, but look, supposedly a very small group was able to kill 3,000 people in the United States.
I understand. And then, you know what? If your country holds terrorists, then no one in that country should be allowed to leave.
But then you have the powerful people there who are allowed to leave. And they also, and just because they're powerful and have money,
doesn't mean they're good.
Doesn't mean they're good. Like, look at Bin Laden. He came from a rich family.
Exactly.
He was a millionaire. His family, supposedly his family was in the United States when the attack happened, and they were actually put on a private plane, or on one of their planes, and they were allowed to leave the country of the United States. His family, but his family has pull. His family is rich.
So then,
Again, the little guys always suffer. Who's the little guys? The poor dudes that got sent on the freaking airplane to crash into the World Trade Center. Those are
All
the
in
little.
the name-
They're
all-
the little dudes.
yeah, they're
Because Bin
nobodies.
Laden's not going to do that.
No.
Bin Laden's not going to jump in their airplane and fly himself into the World Trade Center.
Exactly.
They send the little guy, and then with us,
same thing.
who suffers? The little guys, the 18, 19-year-old, the 20-year-olds who get sent out there to fight a war, just because these two countries didn't like each other. But yet, I don't know, whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever.
It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow because
And the guys going there,
I don't think we should be up in anybody's country trying to tell them what to do.
but the guys that are going there, they really believe they're doing something really good, and in their heart, they're doing it for the country, and there's no doubt in their mind that they're doing it, because it's a belief. Like, I bet the people out there in another country who hate us, they believe they're doing it for something good.
Yeah,
I
and
don't- I don't think-
they're probably brainwashed.
They're probably being told that we hate them,
Yeah,
just like we're being told this.
or they just don't like our ideology because we're too free
But
and it's perversive.
growing up in New York, I knew a lot of Muslims.
Oh yeah, me too.
Cool people.
Yeah.
Cool freaking people.
That's why I said it's a small segment of
They
the
never hated
population that messes up it for everybody else. It's like the small section of bad cops that mess it up for everybody else.
Yeah. Imagine there was a small Christian group that were just terrorists,
Like Waco, Texas.
like Waco, Texas, who the guy was, having sex with all the guys' wives there, and
Impregnating
he had
all
a
of them.
cult there, kind of thing, right? It doesn't mean all of America's like that.
Exactly.
No, it's just
And
that
then if
group.
you have an Amish group,
It's not all of America.
not
It's
all
like-
of America, and then if you have a group of very liberal people, not everybody's like that.
And not all liberals are like that.
Like that other liberal.
Like that other liberal. No, they're not like that. So, and not every person on the right thinks like the far right.
Exactly. And not everybody on the left thinks like the far left.
Because let me tell you something. I see a lot of far right people waving Confederate flags, but I know a lot of right people.
That
I've never seen
are
them.
embarrassed by watching that
They,
display.
they don't wave the Confederate flag.
Why would they?
I know,
This is
but
the
I'm
United States of
but
America.
I'm saying, like, you cannot categorize everybody for that, because, man, to be honest with you, I think I have more right friends than I have left friends.
Me too. And the
The majority of the people I know are for the right,
the left
but they're not far right.
and the left that I do know are I'm not too.
No, we have very good friends on the left as well.
No, I know, but I'm not too into the politics on that side. I'm right in the middle.
Yeah,
I believe
Listen,
live
I'm-
and let live.
I'm a little bit right. I'm a little bit left. I'm a little bit conservative on some issues, and I'm a little bit liberal on other issues. And I'm right down the middle, because I don't blindly go right, and I don't blindly go left.
It's true.
Like,
I don't think any of us should have to.
gun rights, yeah, conservative. I approve. Legalizing marijuana, liberal.
You want to smoke it, drink it, eat it,
Yeah.
knock yourself out.
I approve. It's totally cool.
We approve Roundup and it kills you.
You see, so and what's weed gonna do to people? But what I'm saying is,
One love.
I'm right down
That's
the middle.
Probably why. Because everybody be so high being happy. We won't.
Yeah, but some states have it.
My
California's
goodness.
burning,
Well, California's burning, but that's not.
and it's a liberal state. New York is a liberal state, and marijuana is not legal. And it's a super liberal state.
Yeah, super liberal.
Yeah, and I think Florida is a conservative state. Leans conservative. I don't think it's fully conservative, but it leans conservative, and I think CBD medicine is allowed.
Oil. The oils are. But not
like
not
dispensaries
the,
or anything like that. No.
But they tried to open up one here, and all the parents.
Everybody got upset.
I was like, why?
Why would you get upset?
I wouldn't.
Like here's
You
so
have
the
to have
thing.
a medical card to buy that stuff.
For all my conservative friends on this one, right? Because you guys know I'm a little bit liberal on this part, right? Like, what do people think? Like, people think that you're gonna be able to go to a dispensary, right? It's like buying liquor at the wine store. Do you grab the bottle of wine and start drinking it as you will going home in your car? No, you don't do that, right? You take it back to your home and you do it in your house, right? I don't think anybody's gonna be out in the street, puffing on weed.
I agree with you, but I think it's more along the thing of them saying that they feel like it's a gateway drug, and I honestly don't believe it is. I think alcohol is a bigger gateway to anything, because in alcohol you're completely out.
Yeah, alcohol is bad.
Like when you get drunk, when a person gets drunk,
they're out of it. Yeah.
They can't even remember what they did, and
they kill people.
And the bad thing is that with alcohol, it happens fast. Like you don't get that little bit of a kind of buzz. No,
but
it just goes.
But then also alcohol, alcohol gives you, it gives you that sense of invincibility. Where no, I'm fine to drive. Mm-hmm. No, you don't talk to me like that. I'm gonna hit you. Marijuana does none of that.
No, it just calms you down.
Cigarettes give you cancer, and it's proven.
Alcohol gives you cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah, but like cigarettes give you cancer, and it's proven that it gives you cancer. You're not even allowed to advertise cigarettes. That's how bad they are for you, but they're allowed to be sold in the store.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And anybody can smoke it outside in the street.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
And back in the days when I was a kid, they sold those gums that had that white powder in it, and you would blow it like a cigarette, and then you would eat the gum. So they even advertised it to kids.
To kids,
These
of course.
bastards,
so now, a cigarette is actually proven that it will kill you. The secondhand smoke can also kill you. It's bad for you.
Even
it
vaping
smells
is
horrible, right? And that anybody can do in the street. It's totally fine. Openly.
And you can, and people get agitated.
They even have smoking sections for people who smoke. Yeah, you know what? We have a special place just for you, sir. You can smoke right over here, and it's totally cool. But imagine having a drinking section. It's not allowed either in the street. Like if you come out inside the hotel and you go outside, it's called a bar. If you have a gate and there's a bar and you have a permit to do it, it's fine.
You have to have a permit.
You have to have a permit, right? But you can smoke anywhere you want. You can smoke walking down the street. You can smoke in the park. You can smoke anywhere. And then it also creates pollution because it's not biodegradable. It's fiberglass. It's fiberglass at the end. So that filter.
So you think that people around here thought that that by opening up that dispensary over there, kids were gonna go stand in line?
Do you really think so?
You need a card. It's like
freaking
legal.
But let's say you don't need a card. Let's say you can just walk in there and buy edibles. You can buy marijuana. You can buy whatever. Why would they even sell it to a kid? And lose their business. Like, when's the last time kids went to the store and were allowed to buy beer or cigarettes? They try. Everybody, but listen, we all tried, right? We all tried as kids. When we were 16, 17 years old, everybody tried to go in there and get beer. We all tried. Some of us succeeded.
Others didn't.
Some of us got carded and said, no, I'm not selling you anything. Why? Because if they find out you did that, you're going to lose your license. Mm-hmm. Same thing. It's a legal business. That means if they're selling marijuana and a 17-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid comes in and tries to buy marijuana, they'd be like, let me see your ID, son. No, sorry, you can't be in here. You got to get out. Like, you can't go and buy cigars. You cannot even go to wine and spirits. They have a supermarket completely to alcohol.
I know. A complete section. And let me tell you something. That price per square foot, ooh, that place is making money.
Yeah. So, like, people are not just going to be able to go to the store, come out puffing because it won't be legal.
No, you can't.
You shouldn't. I also don't agree. You should be walking down the street smoking on a joint. But if you're on the beach somewhere.
I've never seen a disgruntled
pothead. No, they're cool people.
And I've never seen anyone who smokes weed to be like degenerate.
No.
I'm just being honest.
Cool peeps. Hey, that's totally fine.
I'm just, hey,
But
listen.
there's been a taboo
Yeah.
behind it.
Just
a
like,
stigma.
Just like they've done a taboo even with sex.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything's been a taboo, and I don't know why. What's the point? To have control?
It's control.
If you taboo everything, then
They just want to control you so much. They just want to tell us
what's good,
what's
acceptable,
bad, what to
and what's
watch,
not.
what to watch, what to eat, what not to eat, drink this, smoke this, don't smoke this though. Drink
And
this,
if you
but
drink
don't
this, you're gonna get this, and then you start doing research, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not too good. It's not too healthy for you.
That's right.
Don't drink that.
That's right.
Crazy.
Yep.
Oh, it's the life you live in.
It's the
But
life
you know
we're
what?
living
At
in
the
right
end of
now.
the day, no one has to put a hazard label on it. It's your job to go ahead and figure out if it's good for you or not.
No, but you do have to put a hazard label.
Yeah, you do. But I'm saying
you
it's
do.
your job.
But it's your job to take care of yourself.
Yeah, to figure out.
If otherwise, I believe you're a socialist. Because if that the government is taking care of you to that point where people and companies have to be putting warning labels on everything, so they don't get
people
sued.
are off themselves.
Because people just start outing themselves. So basically, the government controls everything.
But
Because if you don't do it, if you don't put a warning label, you're gonna get sued, or you might get bankrupt, or your whole company might be jeopardized because somebody didn't take care of themselves.
Well,
Aren't we all free
I agree.
to be able to do whatever we want?
I agree. But if there's a chemical component on the product that you're selling, and it reacts to something else, then I think that needs to be noted, because I'm not a chemist, and I don't know if I grab alcohol and and baking soda and add it together that
Yeah.
it can explode. So that,
Like, for instance, acid for cleaning the pool.
But to put don't drink acid.
How about if you don't know? Hey, I wonder what happens. How about if
That's a
how about if
possibility.
there's
And
no
it
labels?
doesn't say don't drink.
It does say don't drink on it.
And I'm saying, and if it doesn't say don't drink, you're like, no, then you can drink this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Keep putting on the warning labels, guys, because I'll probably out myself too. Anyway, guys, it was great talking to every one of you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. It's awesome hanging out with you guys. Have a great tomorrow is September 11th, so never forget, guys. Later.
Peace.
Peace.